What's up, everybody? I was going to talk about this in my last video, and I didn't talk about it because I didn't want to go into it. But man, I just cannot help myself. So, and I've known this, and I didn't really know why, but I figured out a couple days ago, and I just want to talk about it because it's just hilarious. It goes with everything that's in my previous video about the audit. So the next question is, if they're going to audit and they're going to catch all these people and they're going to prosecute them, how are they going to keep them from the future douchebaggeries from coming back and polluting the system again? Because that's a question, right? That's like legit. Like, okay, we're going to clean the system. We're going to scrape out all the garbage. We're going to throw it away. We're going to get rid of the dipshittery. And we're going to prosecute people and we're going to make an example of them. But how are we going to know? How are we going to know? Remember that whole thing about Intel? Where the U.S. government's going to own 10%? It's called tithing, by the way, in the Bible. Do you know why the U.S. government has to own 10%? Because now they have a vested interest in the inner workings of the company, which means they can audit them whenever because they are part owners. Did you know that? Yeah, that's why it's called tithing. I tithe 10%. But how are you going to handle the boards? And how are you going to handle the supervisors? And how are you going to handle the administrators and management who are mostly insane and are on their high horse? Like, how are you going to deal with that problem? How are you going to deal with this that workforce actually can work without the climbers and sabotagers fucking everything up again? Well, here's how they're going to do it. When I was in New York, I passed this sign, and the sign had this wrestler, and he was at a desk, and it said, "Bring the pain, not the paperwork." I was like, what? What is this? And the company was just privatized for $12.3 billion. I'm not going to tell you what company it is. The company is an HR company, a private HR company for $12 billion. All the HR departments, all the human resources departments, all the corruption collusion is circumvented around these HR agencies and these internal affairs, internal investigations. Oh, we did an internal investigation. We didn't find anything. Now, you're going to be forced to outsource, privatize your HR company, all your recruiting, all your hiring, all your firing, all your investigations, all your complaints are going to be outsourced to an organization that's in the private sector that'll be connected to Homeland Security. So when your employee finds fraud or corruption, it's just a janitor, and they bring the evidence, your HR is going to make sure you're grand jury indicted. That's how they're going to keep the system clean. $12 billion. So, county hiring, you got counties that hire like, oh, this is how we do it here. That's gone. And by the way, just so you know, they just closed the job position for the director of emergency management and national intelligence because hospitals are being nationalized, EMS is being nationalized, fire departments are being nationalized, counties are going to go under this. Yeah. If you're part of emergency response platform or a state emergency response platform, your HR is getting nationalized. $12 billion to privatize. That's how they're going to do it. So if you are a douchebag and you don't get caught in this sifting where we're going to take the trash out and you end up on the post for all the stuff you've already done. But if you're a future douchebag, this is how we're going to make sure that you're gone forever. God bless and Godspeed.